counseling and treatment, register as a sex offender, be carried on the sex offender caseload, that he be subject to a child safety zone, a curfew of 10 p.m. till 6 a.m., urinalysis and breath analysis, no weapons, no travel outside of El Paso without prior court approval, and no unsupervised contact with minors.
And I guess since he's done, maybe a consideration is that he did get a substantial jail time already. What about almost 300 days?
I believe that was part of Ms. Clausen's consideration when she made the recommendation, yes.
All right. Now, I think he is from somewhere in like further east of Texas. It seems like it might be somewhat close to, is it close to Houston or where is it close to?
Close to the valley.
The valley? Oh, okay, the lower Rio Grande Valley, down by Edinburgh in that area?
Correct, Your Honor.
Okay.
Judge, and we are asking for his probation to be transferred to Progreso, Texas. And I have communicated that to Lisa, Ms. Lisa Clausen, as well as to Ms. Maria Ortiz with respect to the transfer. But Mr. Cruz does understand that he has to remain in El Paso until that transfer is approved, if it is approved.
All right.
But he has no family and friends here.
Yeah, I think he has extensive family down there, right?
Correct, Your Honor.
And you don't have anybody here.
No, Your Honor.
Do you have a place where you're going to be able to stay when you get out?
Well, right now, my parents travel 12 hours over here, and they have gotten me a hotel, so I can just be able to stay there before I get an actual place.
Okay. What county is it we're talking about transferring to?
Progreso, Texas,
Do you know what county that is?
Hidalgo County.
Hidalgo County?
Correct, Your Honor.
Yes, Ms. Ortiz. Will you make sure that we can get that done as fast as possible?
I am.
I don't particularly think it's the best idea to be staying in just a hotel room here.
But does he have the address of where he's going to be staying at here?
Your Honor, and if, I guess if we can give that to Ms. Ortiz off of YouTube, just for safety, his safety. I don't want that on YouTube. Based on these charges, Judge.
But, oh. Well, I mean, I think they have to be live. I mean, I can't not do it live.
Right. It's just that if we cannot publish his address for his
Oh,
own safety.
Oh, yes, that'll be fine.
Okay,
You can, what you can do is, I guess you can text Miss Rutledge that information. Or, pardon me, Miss Ortiz.
yes, Judge. Or maybe once we're done, get off of YouTube and then get that address from Mr. Cruz.
Yeah, that'll work. That'll work.
Okay,
All right. Okay, let's then go. Okay, did you understand, Mr. Cruz, that the plea agreement is not absolutely binding upon me, but should I choose to be harsher than that, you could withdraw your plea and we could proceed to trial. But if I follow the plea agreement, it is final. You cannot appeal the case. You cannot withdraw your plea without my consent. You would be placed on probation immediately. You understand?
Correct, Your Honor.
Now, we have in front of us some documents marked State's Exhibit 1. The guilty plea and waiver forms in this case, they bear the signature of your attorney, the state's attorney, and what appears to be your signature. Did you in fact sign these documents?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you read them before you signed them?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand what you were reading and signing?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did your attorney further explain to you the meaning of these documents?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you have any question about the meaning?
No, Your Honor.
So there's never any question. Let me briefly explain to you what they mean. Primarily two things. First, you're coming into court telling me through judicial confession, yes, Judge, I did commit these offenses. And secondly, telling me that you understand you're giving up some valuable rights here today. The most important of those rights is the right to a trial by jury, not only upon the issue of guilt, not guilt, but also upon the issue of any potential punishment. You fully understand that.
Correct, Your Honor.
Understanding that, how do you plead then to these charges, guilty or not guilty?
Guilty, Your Honor.
Enter your pleas of guilty freely and voluntarily.
Yes, Your Honor.
Did anybody force you or threaten you or coerce you or in any way make you plead guilty?
No, Your Honor.
Anybody promise you anything or persuade you in such a manner you felt you had to plead guilty other than the plea agreement stated on the record in open court here this afternoon?
No, Your Honor.
Now, you understand the potential punishment for these offenses. Are these going to be what degree?
They are third degrees, Judge.
Third degree punishments? Okay. Punishment then is not less than 2 nor more than 10 years in prison, fine not to exceed $10,000, but instead of putting you in prison, I can place you on probation for any number of years, not less than 2 nor more than 10. You understand I'll send you somewhere within those general guidelines.
Yes, Your Honor.
You are a U.S. citizen?
Correct, Your Honor.
And how old are you now?
I'm 22, Your Honor.
How far did you go in school?
I should have graduated this May 14th
Okay, in what, from,
with the bachelor's at UTEP.
you were, okay, so you would, so you were in what program at UTEP?
The arts program.
Okay. So you can certainly read and write the English language.
Correct, Your Honor.
Have you ever been under the care of a psychiatrist or psychologist for mental health, mental illness issues?
No, Your Honor.
Suffered any serious head injuries?
No, Your Honor.
You're telling me you are mentally competent? You understand everything that's going on here this afternoon?
Correct, Your Honor.
And Ms. Pages, you've had time to go over the facts and circumstances of the case, legal aspects of the case, and had time to evaluate your client's mental status?
Yes, Your Honor.
And based on all that, you believe he is mentally competent to enter this plea?
That is correct.
All right, then based on your representation, Ms. Pages, your representation, Mr. Cruz, the court's observations of you in court, both here today and prior times, I find that you are competent to enter the plea. State may summarize the evidence.
Yes, Your Honor, thank you. If we had gone to trial in this matter, the state would have presented evidence through testimony and also physical evidence to prove each and every element of all 15 counts beyond a reasonable doubt. We would offer the plea papers as State's Exhibit number 1, which contain the defendant's plea and judicial confession. And as State's Exhibit 2, we would like to offer the 3914 disclosure forms that list the different sources of evidence to include video or DVDs of the images.
All right.
No objection, Your Honor.
They are received. Based on the evidence in front of the court, including our pretrial hearings where we went over in more detail the facts and circumstances of the case, I find the defendant's, the evidence sufficient to find him guilty. But because this is a deferred plea, that means I am not finding you guilty, Mr. Cruz, today. I will wait until some later date to finally adjudicate or decide your case. That will be based on your conduct. If you do well on probation, then the case against you, if you can complete the probation, is dismissed with no finding of guilt. Hopefully that would be some help to you in the future. And then second, but if you don't do what you're supposed to do, you could be brought back before the court. I could find that, and if I found that you had violated your terms and conditions of probation, I could sentence you all to 10 years in prison. You understand that?
Correct, Your Honor.
Okay. Now, you said your plan was, your parents are they here in El Paso right now?
Yes, they just arrived at 2 today.
And you're going to are you going to stay with them in a hotel room?
Yes,
And then hopefully they're going to get the probation transferred in the next couple of days. And then you could plan to drive back with them to your hometown there.
correct, Your Honor.
And have you got work lined up there for you?
Not at the moment, Your Honor. I'm focusing on getting my education first, finishing those couple of classes that I need left, and to register for the master's program.
Okay. All right. And then when you going back to, was it Progresso or what was the name of it?
Progresso, Your Honor?
Yes. So then you're going to stay there and live with your parents, right?
Correct.
All right. Well, very good. Good luck to you. I hope everything works out well. Thank you, Ms. Rutledge. Thank you, Ms. Pages.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Is there anything else that we needed to go over before we end this case?
Nothing from the state, Your Honor.
No, Judge, just to obtain his address once we're off of live stream for Ms. Ortiz.
All right. Yeah, and see, Ms. Ortiz, if they can expedite this case a little bit, because, otherwise he's just staying here in a hotel room with his parents.
Yes, and I will be calling him right now at the annex, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you.
Should I go off live now, Judge?